What's up, guys? Just finished week 52 of the trading challenge, trading from $100 to $1,000,000. We're currently at $120,000, which is a 43k decrease from last week. So pretty much all the money we were up last week, we have retraced it all again. As far as trading goes, legit nothing. Like the market is so dead right now. Like there is nothing happening. So I took 3 trades, which were like two of them were like they should have been okay, but they were, the market's just so dead they did nothing. And then this one was just random. But yeah, like trades, nothing happened. Basically just break even like trades. But as far as the portfolio goes, we can look at that over here. So we are at 119k on Ethereum basically, and that is in Mog and Joe. And obviously we have our IMF, so it's in like basically a leverage position, where we can see I borrowed like 60k roughly over USDS, and then 18k from my Joe. So yeah, we have like basically 200,000 roughly in these coins, but obviously if you minus what you owe, I have 119k. So yeah, I mean both of those, they're like on the dips pretty harsh right now. Like the altcoin market is really not doing well. But we can see like Mog here is basically in this kind of like falling, broadening wedge. Whenever we break this line up here, it will probably send all the way up to like over a billion. But that's the main thing. We just need to break that line, which is obviously showing a lot of resistance, and the whole market is just weak as fuck right now. But yeah, I do think that we're not going to break these lows. I could easily be wrong. Like altcoins are getting like slaughtered, but the thinking is that we're in this kind of similar area right here, where we just kind of mess around like this, and then basically we go back up, come down one more time, and then we go off. It could do something like that if it doesn't want to go down to these like lows again. But really it just comes down to what Pepe is doing. Mog is basically a leverage position on Pepe, kind of. It just does like very similar things. It tops and bottoms at the exact same times as Pepe. It breaks out at the same times. So when we look at Pepe, you're pretty much looking at this kind of like triangle formation. When it comes to the end of this, or maybe even before it, it'll break out. So Pepe, it could come down to this bottom of the triangle again, which is like a 6% dip. So, Mog would probably dump like 10% or more. Or it could obviously go up from here, and it could be like something like this, where you're halfway up, mess around, and then you go higher again. But yeah, we're very close to a point where things are going to start breaking out. It's not like most people are thinking the same thing, and the other half are thinking that the boring's over and it's like everything's about to break down. Obviously I'm on the bullish side. But yeah, let's go take a look at Joe. So Joe is on a trend line right now, which is like a trend line of the whole chart. So since like February 2024 all the way till now, which is like a very long trend line. This is almost 600 days. And you can see it's holding on this line pretty well. You did wick below it the other day, and then it just got eaten right back up. So ideally, we'll hold this line and obviously pump from here, but it's not like guaranteed. Obviously, a lot of times in crypto, you break below a trend line and then you go up, or however often, like you come all the way down even. It happens a lot. Like you break a trend line, everyone gets scared, everyone sells, and then it does the actual pump. That could easily happen as well. It's just nicer if we just pump straight off it. But yeah, Joe is obviously, my conviction play. Joe's like top tier coin, top tier content. It's going to a billion, at least in my opinion, if we have a proper bull run. But yeah, let's take a look at Pulse Chain before we go into the general market. Obviously, like I basically just trade on Pulse Chain. I don't really hold anything over there. And I've already got $900 or $700 in Pulse Chain itself. So yeah, I mean this thing is wrecked. It's been down only. I did think that we were gonna actually keep going up a little bit more, but obviously the whole market is dumped down. So yeah, it does look pretty weak. But hopefully we can make like a W here, and if not, then we're probably gonna come down to these lower areas. But overall, like we just want activity. Like you know, when it was over here, you had a bunch of shit happening, and that's like, from a trader's point of view, that's what I want. I want activity on the chain, and right now there is pretty much none. The only thing we could have bought was X game. Let's have a look at like Bitcoin and all that shit. So Bitcoin is, you know, it's holding up. It's bouncing off this like trend line which I mentioned before. It's not doing the strongest bounce ever. Like we'll have to see what it does from here. It could easily come down one more time before going up, or it could just pump from here. Like, but overall, I don't think we're gonna go any lower than this. And you know, I'm bullish. You know, a lot of people are saying the top is in, and the, you know, Bitcoin's not gonna make another all-time high. They're all wrong in my opinion. I can explain why, but there's really, like, in a short fucking sentence, like, the main indicators to look for, you have your pi cycle, hasn't even topped. The other one that's really really good is BTI. This one nowhere near topping. Like, see how you get these red dots at the exact tops every time? It's not even close. And then there's a few other indicators that I like to look at. Here, so CDD, coin value days destroyed, or just value days destroyed, whatever. VDD, CDD, same thing. But you can see most cycles you get 2 spikes. We've had 1 spike back in March of 2024, and now we haven't got our second spike yet, which will most likely be the top. So this is like a pretty good indicator. I'd recommend like keeping an eye on it. It's relatively accurate. I mean, if you sold like here, you would have been very well off. Same by here, even here. Like, you know, it's not an exact indicator, but it's, you add this with a bunch of other things, and it's, you can make a good decision on whether it's a top or not. But pretty much everything that I like to look at is saying Bitcoin's going higher. That's just a few things that I look at, the main ones. But yeah, as far as Ethereum goes, let's have a look at this. So Ethereum is chilling at the all-time high still. You know, it's not the strongest like sideways ever, and it is kind of making, it's not really a head and shoulders, but I've drew like, you know, shoulder, head, shoulder. It's not an exact thing, and I could easily just go higher from there, but you know, it's not looking the best right now. It could easily come down. Basically, you're either going to pump from here, or come down to here and then go up, or worst case scenario down to here, or like this trend line. I personally don't think that we're going to go much lower, to be honest. I think we'll hold somewhere up here and then go up, but you know, it's anyone's guess at the end of the day. The main thing is that I know it's going to make an all-time high. I just don't know what it's going to do before it gets there, you know. As far as dominance goes, this thing is, you know, holding around 58% right now, which is like, you know, decent. It looks pretty weak still. If it does come up, it's just gonna, you know, bounce up to here like 60% maybe, and then go back down. But overall, very good for altcoins. And then the main chart that I like to look at is total 3. This thing is so bullish, you know, ready to break all-time highs. I mean, it did break all-time high, but ready to actually get into this kind of like price discovery area. Probably next month, or if, you know, if we did have a red month here, then the month after. But I do think October, the markets will break out. You know, Bitcoin historically breaks out on October most times. This is November, but you broke out here in October. And then, where else? Obviously October here, to like next month. Down here, this breakout was October. It's over here. Down here is October. Like, October is a very good month for markets, usually. You know, the last quarter of the year, this was October here, is normally very good for a market, is in like the Q4 is where most of the gains are made, especially on, you know, the year after the halving for Bitcoin. So yeah, that's pretty much like the main markets. Your SPX obviously is insanely good. Like, your general markets are very strong, so there's no reason that crypto isn't going to make an all-time high very soon. It's just a matter of when. Like, and in my opinion, it's October will be ripping all-time highs. And I think that, you know, your meme coins like Pepe and Mog, they'll all break out and have a very strong move up, like, very soon in October. If not the end of the month going into October. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. You know, we're at 120 odd grand. We didn't really make anything trading, and we're down 43k for the week just on altcoins going down. But yeah, that's all. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.